Welcome back to Woman of Worth. So yes, we are definitely back. If you watched our previous show with Donna Picard Kennedy, she sort of kicked us off of returning back to our normal programming here. And so we are excited to be back and very thankful for Donna.
Oh,
what a great show that was.
When I watched it again, well, when I watched it the first time, I just laughed. I just kept laughing, and she's just fun, and that's how she is.
And that's her.
So, yeah.
She is who she is.
Yeah.
And I've since spoken with other people who have seen the show and also know Donna personally and say, you get what you get. She is just the real deal.
Yeah.
So it was so fun to have her, and I can't wait to go visit her and have lunch down at her place. And
it's great.
Anyway.
It's just a great place. So if you've never been, I have actually had people say I've never heard of it before. Not many, but a couple. And I said, oh, then you're missing out. So just get over there and enjoy. It's just a great place. But we are guestless today. Guestless.
Is that guestless?
Yeah.
Without guests?
Without guests. We're without guests. We are our
and
own
that's
guests.
Okay.
Yeah, we're our own guests today. We had a little bit of two of our guests that we wanted to have on the show to tape today. One of them is actually in quarantine from being exposed to COVID, so that was a no. And the other one was just getting their shots from COVID, and they feel more comfortable if we did it at a different date. So Kelly and I discussed, and we thought, let's do a get-to-know-you hosts today. And, there's a lot to talk about since Kelly runs our senior center, and so there's quite a bit to talk about today. So I think it'll be a fun show.
Yeah.
But I wanted to point out, too, on Donna's show, we kept forgetting the name of the women's network that is in the Blackstone Valley right now, and it's called the Women's Success Network, which is, if you've ever read the Blackstone Valley Express, this is this plethora of information in here. But they had a two-part story on the Women's Success Network, and it was a great article for women to get involved. They've got conferences, they've got speakers. It's just a really great networking for women who want to be in business, who are in business. But this is what you want to be involved in, and Kelly and I are surely going to be jumping in with these great women, so that'll be fun.
And you had already made contact with Jeannie Hebert over at the Commerce, and this is what she was directing you to was this group. So we will actually, we will definitely jump on board with that group. I think that they will give us they'll give us a lot of material, that's for sure, and it will be a great networking and having more people that we could have on the show. But also we can maybe offer something from our own backgrounds too. So it would be a good thing.
Exactly. Because we have quite the background. Oh, speaking of that, I just wanted to say, when Kelly and I are waiting for the intro, we can see it on the TV, and I don't know about you, but when I see the intro with the women that we've had as guests flashing across the screen, I don't know, my heart sings. It really does. I know that's corny, but to see the women that we've interviewed already and the great connections we've made and what we're going to do in the future, and so it's pretty exciting.
So we're growing.
We're growing and getting more confident as time goes on. I know I have to work on a couple things, Kelly, so we gotta figure this out. Maybe have a jar where I put a penny in every time I say
Right. And I know I do it too. But when I first started coming to the studio, if I look back on some of those original shows, it was every other word. And I picked up on that right away. And so now I really concentrate on making sure that I don't throw that in.
It's hard to do. And then with Donna, I was watching it, and I said awesome a lot. Well, she is awesome, but I didn't need to say it 10 times.
Well, maybe not that much.
I know.
No, but she is pretty awesome.
So we're a work in progress, so bear with us, please, on Women of Worth. So anyway, so we're going to interview each other. We have a few questions, and so I wanted to start with Kelly, because Kelly is actually quite the woman of worth. She runs the Northbridge Senior Center here in Northbridge. She is the director. I am her humble assistant. And so I thought, watching her every day run this place and deal with what she has to deal with, and especially during COVID, what the challenges have been with our senior population, the most vulnerable population during COVID. It has been a challenge, and it has been great working with you, beside you, just trying to get through all these challenges. So I just think it's fantastic of what you're doing. So I'll lift you up a little bit there.
Thank you.
What did you do? Okay, so I'm gonna go back a little bit.
Let's go back in time.
Yes, go back in time. Now, how many years have you been at the Senior Center?
It will be 9 in June.
9 in June. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you've been with me
5
yes.
since last December.
You just had your 5th anniversary.
In December. I know. Get an extra vacation week.
And that's about it.
And a good kick
Kidding.
in the pants.
And a great boss.
Great boss. This is true. So Kelly,
Yes.
So before you came to the Senior Center, what kind of led you to the Senior Center? What were you doing, and what led you to the Senior Center?
Okay, so from the age of 17, so the
Ooh, you're really going back.
I am going back.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
because really that's where it all started. At the age of 17, the summer after my junior year in high school, I was hired as a CNA, certified nursing assistant for Beaumont Nursing Home. It wasn't nursing. I think maybe it was nursing home then, but Beaumont Skilled Nursing and Rehabilitation Center. And so I worked there. I worked 3rd shift.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's the worst. Oh man.
Then I went on to 2nd shift. I never went on to days. I always liked either the 2nd or 3rd shift. But boy, oh boy, for anybody out there that's not sure what they want to do and maybe leading towards the medical field, that's where you start. You learn, I mean, as a 17-year-old young girl, I learned so much about life in just that first summer. And I continued on, and I worked with that organization all through college. And I actually, when I graduated from college, I was able to sit for my social work license, and Beaumont of Westboro hired me as a social worker. So I did stay with the company another year. Then I was given an opportunity with the Fallon healthcare system, and I worked for the PACE program, which at the time was called Elder Service Plan. It is now called Summer Elder Care, which is a program of all-inclusive care for elders. So do you see the trend here? I've never worked with any other population.
Yeah.
This is all I've done. This is all I've wanted to do.
Well, I think once you find where your heart is, that's all you want to do.
Definitely.
I totally agree with you on that. We'll get back to that about how I came to the same exact conclusion, but so continue.
So then where am I? I'm at Summit. Like I said, it was called Elder Service Plan then. And I wasn't married, no children at that time. But that staff embraced me as I think I started with them, I was 25. They saw me through my first marriage. My only marriage?
Does Nick know about this?
Through my marriage, through my first child. When I became pregnant with my 2nd child is when I decided that I was going to step away from that position. So I took a little time off to be home with 2 little, very energetic, beautiful baby boys. And I found out that I needed to still work. So when Ryan was, let's see, maybe a year and a half, maybe not even, maybe just about a year, I decided to go back to work part-time. And at that time, it was still kind of in the same field, but I was doing liaison work for a skilled nursing facility. So I was still sort of with the elderly population, screening them for their rehab time. I spent a lot of time at St. Vincent Hospital and grew a fabulous network of colleagues that I'm still very close to today. And that turned into a full-time position. Did it turn full-time? No, let me go back 1 second. So it did turn into eventually. But during that part-time stint, my boys were growing and going, getting into school. And by the time they were both in school full-time and I was working part-time, I said, I still need something else to do. So for the heck of it, I just filled out a talent bank form that the town of Northbridge has for people that want to serve on different communities. And of course, I checked off Council on Aging. Well, lo and behold, I got a phone call from Marie Rebecki. I don't remember if you remember her as a board member. Maybe she wasn't there when you were there. She called me and she said, would you be willing to just come to a meeting? So I observed a meeting, and right after the meeting, she came to me and she said, what do you think? And I said, well, I think it's wonderful. And she said, no, I mean, do you want to be on the board? So that led to, I was appointed to the Council on Aging board, which led to being a Meals on Wheels driver. And that's how I was introduced to the senior center. Shortly after, my part-time position became a full-time position, but I still wanted to keep my foot in the door on the board. So that company was very happy to have me stay on the board. Because they felt like it was a good marketing thing too as well. So I served on that board. I would say I was 6 months in, and the director at that time was Gail Anderson, and she announced that she was retiring.
And you swooped right in.
And then the next thing I know, the chairman at the time and the vice chair, Marie. So the chairman was Ted Herringer.
Yeah. I was just going to ask you if it was Ted. Hi, Ted, if you're watching.
I know. I hope you'd watch. I'm going to tell you and Marie to tune in. Anyway, what a great mentor. And so I was asked if I wanted to put my name in, in the running for that. And I said, well, sure, why not? But I had no idea what I was getting myself involved with, never thought about being in a senior center.
Yes, that's my phone ringing. Sorry. I did put it on silent, I swear.
So lo and behold, let's fast forward. So I applied for the position, and I was offered the job. And so fast forward 9 years later, and here I am, and can't imagine what my life would have been like without this opportunity, and thankful that I can serve my community like I do, and to have wonderful staff like I have. I feel like we're able to do so much. We're not in a box, so to speak. We are able to just do so much and carry on, and every day is different, and with the current staff that I have right now, I have to say that originally when I first came on board as a brand new director, the staff that was there had been there forever, and I am so grateful for them. But now, currently, that staff has moved on, and I have all new staff, new meaning that they came in under my leadership. And so I feel like I had a say in who, could be on my team. And it's just wonderful. And we're really in a great place, and we're doing some wonderful things, and there's more to come. So stay tuned.
Was I your first hire?
No. So the assistant position
Oh, that's right. It was before me. That's right.
was brand new when I came on board.
Okay.
So my predecessor, Gail, had been really fighting for that position. And it wasn't until her retirement that they agreed. When the new director came on, then they would, the town would budget in for that assistant. And thank goodness they did.
Yeah.
So the first assistant I had, her name was Jennifer, and she was wonderful. However, she felt she needed to move herself in a different, professionally in a different way. And so I was thankful for her. And then the woman over to my right came along, and, well, it's just, it fits. It works. And Michelle has given our senior center above and beyond what I ever could imagined, and she's always coming up with new ideas, and she's there for me when I want to scream and yell on some days, not all the time, but she's also there to enjoy all the wonderful achievements that we have done, and it's just, it's hard to put words in the position that we have. I mean, no one can imagine what we go through on a daily basis. So.
We'll let you know.
Yes.
Well, I think I had a very similar path to you when I sit and talk. I know where you were from, but ours is similar. It's funny because on NCTV, I would sometimes you'd scroll through and they'd have those openings for different things, and my children were young, and I remember seeing the COA, and I remember thinking, I want to do that. I don't even know why I wanted to do it. I just, in my brain, I wanted to be on the COA. I wasn't even working with seniors at the time, and it just always caught my, isn't that so, like it really did reach out to me, and I didn't realize it, but when I went to school for occupational therapy, I have two small children, and when I was home with them as well, so I stayed home for a small period of time with them as well, and when I went back to school for occupational therapy, backtrack, I have an early childhood education degree, so I was going to go work with children. I was going to go work with kindergarten or first grade, and so when I went back to school for occupational therapy, one of my first patients was in my training was at St. Camillus. And I helped her with something with her wheelchair, and she thanked me, and I looked and I said,
this is it.
This is the place for me. Yeah. I worked at St. Camillus for 7 years after I graduated for occupational therapy. I loved it so much. Then went into home care. Home care was a great job. I loved working with senior population in home care, doing occupational therapy in the home. That was a fantastic job, working in the Worcester area. And what I would do is I would stop at Northbridge Senior Center to get equipment, because in the deep, dark
dungeon of a basement
at Northbridge Senior Center, there lies some gold. And when you're in occupational therapy and healthcare and home care, this is gold. And they have walkers and tub seats and commodes and canes and anything you name it, they have it there, because it's donated from people who are not using it anymore. So I would come in all the time to the senior center, and Mary at the front desk would say, "Oh, hi, Michelle." She was always so friendly, and "Oh, Mary, I need a walker." "Oh, yeah, go downstairs." So I'd go down that scary basement and get the walkers, and then I fulfilled my dream I applied to be on the council, the Council on Aging board. It was my dream.
It was.
And so
And we welcomed you with open arms.
I loved it. I really did love it. I loved the whole workings of if you know anything about being on a board. But Council on Aging board was so professional. Ted ran a tight ship. It was fantastic. And Jean, the current chairperson, she runs a really great meeting. But it's really just all on the workings of the senior center and what's going on and what we're all about, and such supportive people on this board. So if you're ever interested, it's great to be able to put your input in.
Absolutely.
On some decisions for very, very important things in town. Because let's face it, we're all getting older, and you might want to use the senior center someday. So you do. These people that are on this board are really helping make the decisions for the future for the senior center. So I think it's fantastic. So from that, they needed an assistant director. Me being on the board, I interviewed and I got the job.
Yes.
So
you did.
yeah. So it's what a rewarding place to work. I will say that. I think that I found the place where I say every day, I can't wait to go to work. And I'm not even saying that. I love it. I just love being in our building. Love being with the people. I love walking around when everybody's there, having when we were open.
Yes, right.
Saying hi, sitting with people, saying hi. Everybody's having their lunch or doing their activities, or we're troubleshooting for people. And I think that. The senior center is such, I don't think people really realize what gold mine this is in our town. And I don't think people utilize it the way they should be utilizing it. And so many opportunities.
Definitely. Which leads to what we've been working on really behind closed doors, because we are closed. So, we are certainly trying to rebrand ourselves. And we changed our name. We are in the process of deciding on a new logo, and we are thinking about what programs we want to offer. So essentially, when we get the green light to reopen, it's going to be like a new place.
It is.
And it will be, because it will
kitchen.
Be Plumber Place.
Yeah.
But it will be fantastic, and I think we should, plan open houses and bring people in that normally would not have been a part of us. And I have to say that I think with the experience of the pandemic and the outreach, especially lately with talking with people that we wouldn't normally speak with, I think our center is going to be the hot place. I think people are going to recognize and realize that we do have a lot to offer. So we're going to be busy.
I think we are, Kelly, because and we always say that, and I think I've put it out several times in different, in our newsletter, I've put it in the paper before. If you have something you want to do, I had a gentleman come to me a couple months ago, and I said, well, when we open, this will be a really fun thing, and it's pickleball.
Oh, yes.
He wants to run it. He wants to, and I said, when we open, that would be great. And I know a lot of people are really, it's a big deal, I guess. I've never played it before, but
I've heard about it.
But just before we closed, we had just started a Cornhole League. Holy cow, that was so popular. People loved
it.
This league. It was amazing. And we have an evening writing class. We have book club. We have daily exercise classes. We're going to be having a new class coming in on wellness and exercise, taught by somebody young and really active, and she's actually part of my family.
Say it. She's a family member.
A family member, but boy, she has some really fantastic ideas, and I think it's going to be good because what it is, I think she's going to do maybe like an 8 to 12 week course, and she's going to have people do journal writing, and then it's going to be a 90-minute class, and then then you go and you do purposeful exercises in the exercise room, and it's kind of like this one group that you're going to stay with for this 12 weeks. I think it's a fantastic idea, and she just came to us. So, you know, there's so many new things that we're going to be doing. That are, it's not just bingo at the senior center. I always want to say that to people.
I always say it.
Yeah.
While we'll never eliminate bingo, because I know that I would have, people would be after me. Yeah. I would not, it would not be good. So we will never eliminate bingo. However, we are a lot more than just a bingo game.
Yeah. And, you know, we had a photography class just before the pandemic stopped, and they had been going for how long? Maybe a year had they been?
It was close to a year.
And I want to tell you, that instructor was fantastic. He would bring them out to different places. I mean, he's really innovative, and it's great photography class. You know, bring your cameras in, and that was a really good class. Oh, and then we were doing an educational program at night. So we started that.
Different topics.
So it would be a once a month topic. So we had some guest speakers come in. So this was really for seniors who are working during the day, or not seniors. We were opening it up to the public. So that was really fun to do. That was really, really fun to do. So I'd love to start doing that again.
Absolutely.
That would be a really neat thing to start back up again. But I have to backtrack too. Was one time, when I first started working at the senior center, I was showing somebody upstairs, and it was, I don't know, he might have been an electrical worker. I'm not really sure who he was. And he said, "Oh, this place is really neat." He said, "Where are all the beds?" I was like, there's no beds at the Northbridge Senior Center, you know, like, it's a community center. It's not, there's nobody living here. No. I've had that several times asked of me. Yeah. Several times.
And so that's the importance of, like I mentioned, this rebranding and making a new name and emphasizing to people that we are the place to keep you home, keep you independent, keep you active, keep you healthy, keep you out of a nursing facility. And there's nothing wrong with a nursing facility. We both have come from that background, and we know that they're wonderful places. But, you know, that's last resort. And so let's keep you home, let's keep you active, and let's help your families out, too. I mean, because goodness knows we are peace of mind for a lot of families as well. That's the truth.
We do have people that come in to the senior center, and they will come in 9 o'clock in the morning, and they'll stay for activities in the morning, for exercise classes. They'll stay for lunch. Then if there's any activities in the afternoon, they'll be there for that. It's such a family, and it's so social. If you're new to town, if you just want to get out and meet new people, and it doesn't matter how old you are. We had a gentleman come in. He was in his 90s. And we just loved him so much, and he just started participating, and he was at our dinner dance one time, and he was asking all the ladies to dance, and you know, if you just want to get out of your house and you don't have to be, you don't have to be stuck at home. There's a place for you to go, and it's our senior center.
Definitely.
So
yeah. So we're doing good things, and
I think so.
Definitely a lot more to come. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, so you did mention Plummer Place. So that's the name. That's the new name of the Northbridge Senior Center. It's called Plummer Place, home of the Northbridge Senior Center.
Yes.
So we thought that would, get rid of a little bit of the stigma of a senior center.
Exactly. Right. And that's the hope, is just to make it a welcoming place for everybody. And we're not going to, take birth certificates at the door to make sure that you're 60. Because if you're 55, come on in. If you're 45, come on in. Yeah. I mean, just really, it's just all about people and being together. And
I agree.
We can all learn from one another. And certainly I have learned so much from, I think about some of the people that have been through the doors of that senior center, some who have, passed on, others who are still with us, and boy, oh boy, do we learn a lot. And for me, personally, I have grown incredibly as a person. I am not that same person I was 9 years ago. So it's beyond rewarding for me to be in that position.
Yeah.
So I'm very thankful.
What would your what is your greatest accomplishment, would you say, at the senior center? Do you have one thing? I mean, you can say a couple, but I'm wondering what do you feel is your greatest accomplishment at the senior center?
Yeah, that's tough, because I have to say, so we had mentioned the name Ted Haringa, and as I said, he was the chairman at the time. He was instrumental in my receiving the position. He was on the committee, and I mean committee, that hired me. There was a room full of people when I interviewed. It was quite intimidating, but anyway, so he would always have a list of projects that we would work on. And thank goodness for him, because I'm thinking, me, 9 years ago, as a young person that had never been in a leadership role, never been a supervisor, never had people underneath me, what the heck am I doing? But I had Ted to just keep me on task.
What a great mentor.
He was. He absolutely was. So, one of the biggest accomplishments for him and I was working on obtaining a newer bus. So that bus that is now 5 years old, that people still think is new, is starting to show its age. But that was one of the biggest things. And I, for me, that was, it was overwhelming at the time, but I'm so grateful for that experience. And the support that we received from the community was overwhelming. And I just, we had other things that we did a lot of renovations within the building. Michelle had just mentioned about a kitchen renovation. So that's the next project that we are tackling at this point. So really, if I sit back and I look at that building, while I've been there, some things had started before I had come along, but we really have gone through and done a lot of upgrading, maintaining. That building is really very well maintained. It's a strong building. There are parts of it that are also showing its age, but I think our love for it and what Michelle has brought to, if you ever have the opportunity, please stop in, because we have our own professional interior decorator.
I love decorating.
She does, and you do a great job.
Thank you.
It's just, it feels like a place that you want to be. And so we're hoping that with the kitchen now, that will just put the, that final piece on.
I'm so excited about the kitchen.
Yeah.
The kitchen that we had been put together in 1985 when the building was first renovated for the senior center. And, served its purpose. And back in the day, they did have fundraisers and things like that, and that's what that dishwasher was for. But, so having this new kitchen, then it since failed. The stove didn't work, dishwasher didn't work, really just wasn't a good functioning kitchen for anything. So, so with the renovation of this kitchen, gosh, there's so many possibilities. So many possibilities. I'm excited for them to be able to, for our fine group. Our fine group is the group that raises funds for anything extra at the senior center. So they would be the ones that would be able to put on spaghetti dinners.
Exactly.
Pancake breakfasts. You name it, they can really be creative with it. But then on top of that, I'm thinking, oh gosh, Kelly, we could do cooking classes.
Exactly.
We could do a bread making class. We could do how to use an air fryer or cooking for one or cooking for two. It's endless.
Yes.
And right now we do have Tri-Valley. We have Meals on Wheels.
Yes.
And that is the main lunch for now. That's what they serve for lunch. But again, another goal would maybe once a month have a chef come in.
Right.
a real chef.
Exactly.
A real chef at the senior center. Because a lot of senior centers do have their own chef.
They do. It's that's the newest trend within maybe the last, I would say 10 years. You will see that senior centers have turned or transformed into little cafes where people can go and have lunch very reasonably. And again, it's a community-oriented, social place, safe place for people to go. And I think that would be something that is needed at our center. But also, I look at that kitchen as it's additional participation space for us.
Yeah.
And goodness knows, we are so fortunate. Our building is huge. It really is. Compared to our neighbors, poor Uxbridge.
We have 2 floors.
Some have 1 room. Yeah. We have 2 floors. We now have an outdoor space. We just have so much to offer. And again, I think that going forward, we're going to be the place to be.
I agree. Well, I always think to myself, we have people that come for lunch every day. We have our regulars. But wouldn't it be great to have a Plumber Place Cafe once a month, and for a group of people saying, hey, where do you want to go to lunch today? Hey, let's go to the senior center. And and we're the place that they want to go, rather than go to one of the restaurants. Not taking away their business, sorry, but just have them come and have a nice little luncheon at the senior center, and then maybe get involved with maybe there's a concert that afternoon. We do have concerts, we have entertainment. So much to offer at the senior center. Anyway, I think that's what's really exciting to me.
Exactly.
Just the possibilities.
Yeah. And so I think that's really probably what keeps Michelle and I in our positions, because we can always advance and grow without having to change what we're doing. We're just evolving in our positions. So, while I think for the most part, as long as the town will have me, I think I'm there for the long haul. But it's just, I feel like I can always still grow within my position, even though I'm not changing, what my title is. Yeah. So it's a great place to personally grow too. I mean, you've done so much with just the writing group.
Yeah, oh gosh, we love our writing group. I mean, we're going to have one of the girls on who published out of my writing group because she was, we encouraged her, and there's just so many opportunities. Exactly. It's really endless. Very exciting. So never realized it when I started the job.
No.
How great it would be. And
exactly. But I think we made that for those positions. Yeah. We didn't stay in our little roles and just say, this is my job description, and this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to clock in at 9 and I'm done at 5. Right. We think beyond that, and I think that's what will help us as we grow. Yeah. So, and I'm also thinking, back to this women's group, we could host.
We could host at the senior center. That would be,
yes.
We had talked about that a while ago. Yeah. So that would be awesome. That would be great for people to come in and really see what we're about.
Yeah, and it's everything. More exposure again for us.
Yeah. Such a great place. And when I first got the job there, I mean, I really didn't know the clear definition of what the job was, to be quite honest with you. And it's kind of evolved for me. And I didn't know I was going to be a decorator. I didn't.
Oh, but you did.
No, I didn't know I was going to be running a book club or a writing group. Or,
exactly.
But I just, it's great.
But even as you and I have together hired staff.
Yes.
And we always say to people, make it your own.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's important for you and I.
Yeah. To
make sure that the people that we do bring on board with us have that same mentality and can kind of just go with what they want to do. Because I never say no.
Yeah. Oh, you don't. You really don't. And that's what makes it like whatever I want to do. She's like, all right, go ahead, do it. But I think our outreach worker, who we tried to get on the show today, but she's a little camera shy.
We'll get her.
We'll get her.
We'll get her eventually.
But Jeannie, when she came, you know, she's quiet, but I have to say, boy, she's one of us because she'll just do whatever. I'm like, you know, in this job, you're moving furniture. We're taking tables from upstairs, bringing them downstairs, then bringing them back up, and you know, we're just doing we do a lot of work.
We do.
We really do, and she just jumps right in.
By the way, speaking of that basement, I went down today because I had to get a wheelchair. Wow, Michelle, you really just cleaned up yesterday.
I cleaned up.
I walked down and I said, "Well, I see what I need. It's right there." And but yeah, you did a fantastic job.
Thank you, Kelly. This is what happens at the senior center.
Yeah.
Well, that's the area where all of the equipment was.
Right.
So there's a really fantastic organization called Wheels
of the World.
Wheels of the World.
Yeah.
And they contacted us probably about 2 years ago, maybe a year ago. What they do is they take old walkers, wheelchairs, crutches, canes, anything for mobility, and they refurbish, and then they send them to third world countries or countries that are having difficulties getting this kind of equipment. And so we literally load up Patsy's car, Patsy from Wheels of the World. We load her car up a couple times a year. And she one time came and showed me a photo album of going to these countries. She's going to Peru, I think, in October.
Oh, okay.
They've been to just countries all over the world. And you know, you don't really realize how good you have it in this world, especially in our country. She had pictures of people paralyzed crawling to their clinic. They would set up these clinics, and because they had no crutches, they had no wheelchairs, they had no walkers, and then of course the next pictures of them being fitted for what they needed, and then them leaving with their head held high with a piece of equipment. And I want to tell you, that is probably one of the best things that we give to. And so we have an overabundance at our senior center of all of this equipment, especially people are digging out their basements now from COVID. People are cleaning, and we just had such an abundance. We could barely walk in our basement. Right. So she's come twice in this last week, and she's just thrilled. She's over the moon that they're going to be able to give these to the people that need it, rather than sitting in a dark basement
or throwing it away.
Or throwing it away. And I'm so happy to that. It's just heartwarming.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's called Wheels of the World. If you ever look it up, and you ever want to donate to any organization, that's a fantastic organization, because you should see what they do.
So if you do donate equipment to us,
yes, we can get it to them.
And you don't think it's in great shape,
yeah,
but we will take it, because we do have, as you see, we rehome things, and we do find, you know, great organizations that will utilize this kind of stuff.
But not only for them, all this equipment we do give out to people. We have daily phone calls for people that need wheelchairs or walkers or things like that. So.
But going back to your expertise, thank goodness you're in the building with your OT background. Because you help people to make sure that it's the right piece of equipment, but furthermore, and most importantly, make sure it's in good working condition, because we don't want to jeopardize anybody's, you know, well-being with giving them faulty equipment. So it's great to have Michelle there to really give it the final blessing before it goes out the door.
Well, you know, when you're trained in something, you always have that eye, and it's just happened the other day. A gentleman came in. That's always he's one of our good ones, and he has a cane. And I'm looking as I'm talking to him, and I look, and he keeps talking, and I look, and I say, "We need to fix your cane." What do you mean? It's fine. You are hunched over. We need to fix your cane.
Right.
We moved it up a click, and he did it. He goes, "Oh, well, that's so much better." So.
Yeah.
It's the little things in life. I'm so happy that I could be there to do something like that. But
yeah. Exactly.
But yeah.
Yeah. So, that's our little world in a nutshell. But there's as you can tell, there's so much more, and if we could sit here and talk for hours about our experiences.
Yeah.
And
it's a great place to work. It's a great place to be. If you ever want to be involved in the senior center, there's so many volunteer opportunities. There's opportunities on our boards. There's a Council on Aging board. I don't know if there's any openings right now.
There's no openings right now, but there are openings for the Friends of Northbridge Elders, which, as Michelle had mentioned earlier, is the fundraising group. And they are seeking out new members. So if you are, and you don't have to be a certain age, and I won't say what age. You could be any age. Yeah. And if you're interested in serving on a board that does fundraising to support the senior center, then come on over and we will hook you up with the right people. It's a commitment of a meeting once a month, and then other events, fundraising, of course, but not a whole heck of a lot, because we're encouraging them to do easy fundraising, things that don't require a lot
like the TV.
Yes, the raffle.
They raffled off a TV, and all it was selling tickets. So trying to make it easy for them.
Right.
Because the car wash was never going over very well. I don't want to wash cars.
It's too labor intensive, and we do have some older people on the board, and so if we can. But anyway, so if you're interested in serving in that manner. We also have our medical volunteer driving program. Yeah, so that's an important program. We do have about four people right now. 4 people that have been consistently amazing there for us. Thank goodness. Absolutely amazing. And again, they are just people that say, "What can I do to help?" And they'll take a senior to an out-of-town medical appointment, say to Milford, to Worcester. Just any place. It's not far. We only have a couple people that have ever gone into Boston and things like that. It's really not. We reimburse drivers for their mileage, but what it is, the service, this is invaluable to have these volunteers to take our seniors to appointments that they would never be able to get to. We've done this with people who are going to chemo treatments, and we'll have like a consistent driver. Right. Oh yeah, I want to take them, so they'll take them, and so such a great opportunity if you're ever looking for something, to help out, make yourself feel good. It's a great program. Definitely, yes. The out-of-town medical driver. Yeah. Also, the Meals on Wheels program. While we don't manage and oversee that, we do have 3 routes that run out of our building. So Tri-Valley has a nutrition manager, and if you recall, he was on a show that we had done under a different name, Bill Robidoux, and he could have his own show. It was the Bill show, yes. I would say we could have him on this show, but, Yeah. It's women of work. It is women, but that's all right. I mean, he does support us. He does. Anyway, so he would be the contact for the Meals on Wheels program. We also have the food pantry in our building, which is another great volunteer opportunity. So if you are recently retired, thinking about retiring and worrying about what you're going to do after that big transition, come see us. Even answering the phones. It's a great opportunity. Yeah. And even, just saying, hey, I want to volunteer, put me on your list. And if we have a big event at the senior center, if we have a big event at the senior center, who's lugging tables downstairs and moving chairs? It's all of us. So, there's so many volunteer opportunities. But it's also if you have a hobby like this gentleman that does a photography class, he retired from his job, he's a photographer. I'm going to do classes, and he goes around to all the senior centers and does photography classes, and that's his retirement. So be creative. If you're a woodworker or something, hey, I can do something like that. Yeah. That would be kind of neat to have something, at the senior center for, woodworking. Whatever skills you have. Whatever skills you have. Because this is the year of the challenge, isn't it? It is. Choose to challenge. Yes. International Women's Day. Choose to challenge for the year of 2021. So...
But yeah, come on down and see our senior center. It's a fantastic place. It's just homey.
Well, when we officially
It's
open,
homey.
I mean,
Yeah.
Call us.
Can't
we'll,
now.
We'll let you in.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. But when do you think we're going to be opening at least a little bit?
So originally I had mentioned to you about April, and after some discussions with the powers that be, including myself, I mean, I do have a major role in that decision, but the town manager has, you know, I seek out his support, and he really truly does help me in making that decision. And he and I were speaking recently, and I'm thinking it's going to be probably middle May. I think by that point, it's safe to say a good percentage of our seniors will be vaccinated. And it's not going to be a requirement to come into the senior center, but it will be certainly, gosh, it will be helpful if people are vaccinated.
Yeah.
And so I think, and that will give us opportunity to have policies in place, the safety protocols, whatever PPE we need. I think we're in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
I mean, even though we're behind closed doors, we still are wearing our masks. We have our plexiglass in place. Our bus drivers go above and beyond to make sure that those vehicles are clean. You know, at the beginning of the shift, in between passengers, at the end of the shift, and so we're very proactive with cleanliness and sanitation and all of that. So I'm thinking, hoping, shooting for like middle May.
But
However, we do have a patio,
yeah,
so we
might-
may
yeah.
have some patio events as like a pre-opening, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, we were talking about book club yesterday, about possibly
Definitely.
having a book club outside on the patio. Last summer we did a few concerts outside on our new patio.
Our new
It's
patio.
beautiful. And we're going to get another picnic table out there, and you know, people, if they want to, can come and sit and have lunch with their friends if they'd like to outside on the patio, things like that. So I'm excited about that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
I wanted so before we leave, Kelly. So since this is Women of Worth, did you ever have a woman mentor, a woman that brought you to where you are today? Did you have somebody that you looked up to, that helped you along the way?
Ooh, that's a tough one, because I think I've had several. Which, wow, I'm fortunate if I've had several. So I can think of family members. I can also think of teachers and supervisors when I was at Beaumont, colleagues when I was working at Beaumont. You know, some of those nurses were the best teachers ever. Some of the residents there were the best people to. So I think, like I said, fortunately, you know, I was in Catholic school, and it was a positive thing for me. I know it's not positive for everybody, but it was for me. And I'm thankful for my parents for putting me in that direction. Because it did give me, and that's also what brought me to this area. Because I was at the Our Lady of the Valley in Uxbridge, and my very good friends lived in Northbridge, and that's really, I have to say, I think I felt like this area was home even way back then. So when I did move here officially in 2001, when Nick and I bought our first home and we were first married, it's been home ever since. But for women, let's see. Well, obviously a grandparent. So my grandmother was, and it was my dad's mom, was, even to this day, you know, she's no longer with us, but I think about, there was a newspaper article about me being appointed to the position at the senior center, and maybe about 2 months after she passed, my aunt was going through her desk and found the article cut out, and she was just, I think, well, she had a role in her senior center. She delivered Meals on Wheels, and so she knew what a senior center was all about.
Proud of you, yeah.
And she was just, she was so proud. Now, my other cousins were, you know, lawyers, doing all these great things and went to great schools and did wonderful things, but she was just, my aunt said this was above and beyond for her.
Yeah.
So I think, I often think about that, especially on a bad day. I'll be like, okay, we can do this.
Yeah.
And what would you do? We called her, when my kids were born, we changed her from Graham to Gigi. So what would Gigi say?
Oh,
you know,
sweet.
I think about that. So I guess, you know, she was huge. I mean, even to this day, I still, the little prayer card that was, we were given at her, during her calling hours, during her services, it was laminated for the family. And I carry that in my purse to this day.
Yes,
so it's just, I think that's probably it. But, you know, I also have, my mother is fantastic. And I'm so blessed. Her mother, unfortunately, passed when I was only 2 years old. But her legacy is phenomenal. She was a nurse in our hometown of Upton. And the stories that I hear about this woman, she's just an incredible. And so I'm like, gosh, I have these role models. I really need to step up my game. And
no, you don't. You're doing fantastic.
Live up to, you know,
no, you're doing great.
where I come from.
I know, but I think where you came from makes you who you are today, and a pretty strong woman running the senior center. So it's a good thing.
Thanks, Michelle.
You're welcome. It's a good thing.
You know, we have our moments, of course. We cry, we laugh.
Yeah.
We get angry.
Yes, of course. Of
but,
course.
Yeah, it's all good.
But that's life.
Yeah.
That's what life's all about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, Kelly, I think we should wrap up. What do you think?
Okay. Wow. So enough about me.
I know. Well, you know.
Wow, Michelle, we could probably actually do another show just about.
If you'd like to.
Yeah.
Well, there's a few topics that we could discuss in future things. So
Definitely.
It would be great. It would be great. But when you were talking about your grandmother, I think that too about my Nana. She's no longer with us, but you know, my Nana was just she didn't really didn't work. Later in life, obviously, she was at home, but I'm stumbling over my words right now because I'm talking about my Nana Banana. She was somebody that I would look towards as the kindest person I've ever known in my life, and I always think about that. That she just taught me kindness. She was not a lawyer. She was not a doctor. She was. You know, she really mostly stayed home and baked pies and fudge and cookies and everything known to man. But boy, she was kind, and she loved
her family.
She did love her family, and she loved her. So she was such an influence to me, and I carry her with me. So we both have that in common as well. So so what a wonderful way to end our show.
So we are going to sign off for now, and we'll have some great guests coming on in the next few weeks.
Will be having the next show. We will be having some authors. So
excellent. So
hope you can be with us for our next show. Thanks so much for being here today. And always remember, you're a woman of worth. Thanks.
I really wanna show you better times. I really